Has someone betrayed you, repeatedly lied to you? Have they been unfaithful in your marriage or broken your trust and your heart in a big way? Healing from betrayal is tough. It takes a lot of time and hard work, and that's just your part. Restoring broken trust in order to repair a relationship can take even longer and be even harder. Sadly, some Christians, as well as people helpers like pastors and Christian counselors, have not always known how to wisely move people along this path of restoration and genuine healing, nor have they been helpful at discerning whether or not it's even possible. And one of the biggest mistakes I see, that as Christians we don't often discern the difference between someone who has a guarded heart and someone who has a hard heart. The Bible tells all of us to forgive one another, even for big sins. Being sinned against does not give you an excuse to become hardened and bitter. That will destroy you. However, graciously extending forgiveness towards someone who has done you great harm or betrayed your trust does not guarantee or require you to trust him or her again. In fact, the Bible cautions us against such foolishness. Proverbs 25:19 says this, "Putting confidence in an unreliable person in a time of trouble is like chewing with a broken tooth or walking on a lame foot, not very smart." The Bible also tells you that above all else, guard your heart. Why? Because your heart is your very core, the essence of who you are. And when you aren't vigilant about guarding your core, your heart can be corrupt and deformed, not only because of our own sin, but also because of the sin of other people towards us. The Bible tells us that people influence us for good and for evil. And that's why the Apostle Paul warned you, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Jesus himself loved everyone, yet he didn't trust some people because he knew what was in their heart. Therefore, let me help you see what the difference is between a person who has a hard heart and someone who has a guarded heart. Because a person with a guarded heart does want God's will for her life. She's teachable, humble, willing to learn. She also knows she alone is responsible to steward herself, her body, her soul, and her spirit. And so when she is repeatedly sinned against, she not only must work through the forgiveness piece, she's also responsible to walk in the truth and not pretend the relationship is repaired if it's not. Extending forgiveness cancels a debt, but it does not automatically repair the relationship, especially when there's been no evidence of genuine repentance by the other person. Jesus tells us that we will know people by their fruit. Actions always speak louder than someone's words. Yes, we're called to love our enemy, but that does not imply that we have any kind of relationship or trust with an enemy. In fact, we don't. That's why he or she is called an enemy. On the other hand, a person with a hard heart has a stubbornness to them. He or she doesn't hear, won't listen to God or even wise others. A hard-hearted person is proud and unrepentant. The Pharisees, for example, were religious, yet Jesus described them as hard-hearted. They weren't guarding their heart. They had a stubbornness to them. It is wise for a godly person to guard his or her heart when there was someone with a hard heart, so the person doesn't have an undue influence on your mind or your emotions. So let's all be more careful. When we see someone struggling in their relationship, let's be careful not to mislabel them. Just because they have firm boundaries, or just because they don't automatically restore broken trust, let's not label them as hard-hearted. She actually may be practicing biblical wisdom and appropriate stewardship by guarding her heart and her mind, and that is a good thing. God bless. And if you found this helpful, share it with a friend.